Hi, I'm Kathy from Wicked Lady Chains, and today I'm going to show you Great Southern Gathering, also known as GSG for short. This is Great Southern Gathering. Makes a beautiful chain. The banded version is done by changing every 4 rings. Okay, so it's copper and stainless. This one is done in sterling. So this one was done in an aspect ratio of 5, which gives it a nice loose lacy feel. And these were done in an aspect ratio of 4.7, which pulls the weave in a lot tighter. Okay, so to begin, put 2 rings on one ring, put a twisty tie cable or a larger ring, whatever you've got available, through the 2 rings. Let's get it as tight as I can because I don't want it to move around too much. Okay, so we've got this. Now the tutorial requires that the first ring, this blue one, goes through the eye of the 2 red, and that's easily done. Just push them apart and you've done it. Alright, and that goes the same for any tutorial that requires you start with the first ring going through the eye. Just put 1 ring through 2 closed rings and then push them apart. So to begin with, the topmost ring must be sat on top of the bottom one. The first ring goes through the eye and will drop down and hang at the bottom there. The next ring we're going to place is going to go in front of this one. Okay, it's going to go through the bottom ring and up through the top, going around this eye formed. Okay, so we're going through here and we're going through here. We're not touching the center part at all. Okay, so as we go along, it'll always be exactly the same. 1 ring will go through the eye formed. The second ring will go around the eye. So you got through the eye, around the eye. Okay, so if we grab a ring around our eye and we'll close that. Right, these rings used are the wrong aspect ratio. These are slightly too large. Okay, so it's not going to pull in like those other weaves, but I couldn't do the tutorial using the smaller rings. I couldn't video it, so you're gonna have to bear with me. It's not the easiest weave to show, but stick with the video, because hopefully if you don't get it at the beginning, once the weave stabilizes after a few rings, you'll be able to see the pattern straight off then. Okay, so the 2 rings we've just added here, if I was to turn them to the side, you can see that an eye has been formed with them, and our next ring is going to go through them. So if we turn the weave, you can see it creates a stepped effect. Okay, so our first 2 rings were red. Okay, the ones we've just added are the blue, and we need to go through the eye created by the blue. Okay, so the first ring will go through the eye and it'll drop down to the bottom, and this is where it gets tricky. Okay, so through the eye, okay, can you see that? Yeah, and we will drop that down to the bottom there. So that's what we have now, and the next one is going to go in front of that around the eye. Okay, so our weave is starting to take effect now. Okay, so the 2 rings we've just added, if we push them down, you can see that they formed an eye. So turn your weave over. So again, you've got that stepped effect. Okay, and we want to go through the eye. So wherever it juts out on the bottom, we're going in through the top of that. So when you turn to the side, the first ring is going to go through the eye and it's going to hang down the bottom. The next ring will go around the eye, coming up the front. So through the eye, we'll drop it down, and the next one will go around the eye. So we start to get somewhere now. So push those two rings down, you can see they formed the eye. Turn it over so you've got the step. Okay, so it'll come down and the newest rings added are going to jut out in front. So turn it so that part that's sticking out is now facing towards you. Okay, we're going to go through the eye. And then we're going to go around the eye. So the one that went through the eye again drops down to the bottom. The next one will go around that eye. Get in there. Okay. So now we're starting to get a weave and it's starting to stabilize. Now, as you can see, exactly as we started with the red, the top ring sits on top of the bottom one. Okay, top, bottom, so the layering stays the same. Every time we add a new ring, you've got to make sure you flip it the correct way. So if you turn your weave over so you've got that stepped effect, and this will be the same, it'll be like staircase. Turn it to the step, that becomes your top. Okay, you've got your eye, pop your ring through, and this ring again will drop down to the bottom. Okay, so if you're unsure whether it's supposed to be going up the top or up the bottom, then have a look. Will that match in? No, so we know it sits on the bottom there. Alright, next one goes around the eye. Okay, so you've formed an eye. Now we need that stepped effect, don't we? So we need to turn it over that way. Yeah, so it's coming out kind of like an L shape, and that becomes our top. Okay, so you've gone from the step to what you were looking at. Through the eye. Drop it down. As you can see, all the first rings are all dropped down to the bottom, and the next one is going to go around the eye. Go through there, through there. Okay, so it's starting to build now. So the last two rings we added, turn your weave over so you've got the L shape. Turn it towards you so you're looking at it the same as me now. Okay, so this is your top, that's how you start, that's your top. Next ring goes through the eye, and the one after will go around the eye. So through the eye drops to the bottom, around the eye will sit slightly higher. Okay, turn it so you've got your L shape. So that's what you're looking at now. Through the eye, let it drop to the bottom, around the eye. The rings you've just added, these two, turn your weave over so you've got your L shape, turn it towards you and go through the eye, alright, let it drop to the bottom, and around the eye. And that's it. You just continue. Okay, so if you wanted to add your next rings, the last 2 rings you added will always be an odd angle like that. So turn them over to get your L shape. Okay, and then turn it towards you. So you will always see the previous rings standing up straight. The top ring will always be sat on the one underneath, and it's always through the eye, drop to the bottom and around the eye. And you will always end up with exactly the same pattern. Once you've gone through the eye and around the eye, this is how it'll look where you've just added your rings. Okay, so they'll drop down like that. Just turn it over, grip the last 2 rings you've had if it helps, and turn it towards you so you can see exactly where you put your next one. Alright, I hope that helps. Bye for now.